right, friends, today we're going to read the next two chapters of The Magic Tree House, Ghost Town at Sundown. When we left off, Jack and Annie were making a break for it. They had taken the mama horse back and they were flying up towards the top of the hill, and they saw something white at the top of the hill. Today we'll read chapters 7 and 8 to figure out what's going on. Once we're done, today you are just going to record what you read with the microphone or the video camera. We have a different activity for writing today. Listen close and let's find out what happens. Chapter 7, Ghost Story. Jack bounced in the saddle. He felt the cool night wind against his face. He couldn't tell where they were going, but he trusted Dusty to follow the others. Finally, Dusty caught up with the herd as they began to slow down. Jack snapped his reins. Dusty came up beside Slim and Annie. "Howdy," said Slim. "Howdy," said Jack. "Howdy," said Annie. "Are you okay?" Jack pushed his glasses into place. "Yup," he said. "You?" "Yup," she said. "That was some good riding, Shorty," said Slim. "Thanks," said Jack, smiling. He kind of liked being called Shorty now. "Where are we headed, boss?" Jack asked Slim. "To Blue Canyon," said Slim. "Is that okay with you?" "Yeah," said Jack. "This way," said Slim. He slapped his horse and they all started speeding up again. Slim steered the herd to the left. Soon he led them through a deep, narrow pass. Finally, they came to a boxy, open space surrounded by walls of rock and lit by the moonlight. "We'll corral the Mustangs here in Blue Canyon," Slim said. He got off his horse. He helped Jack down, and Annie slipped off Sunset. "Take him to his ma," Slim told Annie. Annie led Sunset over to the mom horse. In the moonlight, the two Mustangs rubbed against each other and neighed. As Jack patted Dusty's damp neck, he remembered the last two rules: praise and reward. "Thanks," he whispered to Dusty. "You were great. You were super great." Slim unsaddled Dusty, then handed Jack the saddlebags. "You take these over to that grassy spot. We'll camp over there," he said. As Jack carried his saddlebags, his boots felt stiff and tight. His legs were sore and wobbly, but he didn't mind. He threw down the saddlebags and his backpack. Then he flopped himself down. He was very tired. Annie joined him. "They seem so happy to be free and together again," she said, staring at the moonlit Mustangs. "Yeah," said Jack. He laid back, using his backpack as a pillow, and he looked up at the stars. "If we just had the answer to the riddle, everything would be perfect," he said. "Yup," said Annie. "Hey, Slim," he called. "I have a question for you." "Shoot," said Slim. "Do you know the answer to this riddle?" Jack asked. "Out of the blue, my lonely voice calls out to you. Who am I? Am I?" Slim was silent for a moment, then said, "Sorry, Shorty, don't know that one." Jack's heart sank. "Okay," he said, "we don't either." "I have a question too," said Annie. "Why does the piano in the hotel play by itself?" "I do know the answer to that one," said Slim. "What is it?" said Annie. "It's Lonesome Luke," said Slim. "He's the ghost of the cowboy who wanders through the prairie." Jack sat straight up. "I saw him! I saw him!" he said. "I just remembered. He scared the rustlers. If he hadn't come, I would have never gotten away." "Oh, yeah?" Slim chuckled. "Well, lucky for us, Lonesome Luke sometimes likes to help folk out." Slim threw his saddle down next to Jack and Annie and sat on it. "Years ago, Lonesome Luke had a gal who he was just crazy about. She couldn't take the Wild West, though, so she went back east." "What happened then?" asked Jack. "Luke went loco. Every night he'd show up at the hotel and play the piano. He played Red River Valley over and over. Then one night he just vanished into the prairie and was never seen again. His bones were found years later, but folks say his ghost returns to the hotel piano to play Red River Valley, and it goes like this. Slim took out his harmonica. He began playing a song. It was the same sad song Jack and Annie heard in the hotel. Jack laid back down and listened to the sad song. A coyote was howling in the distance. The horses stirred in the dark. I better take some notes, thought Jack. But he didn't even write a word before he fell asleep. He didn't even take off his boots. Chapter 8. Who am I? A fly buzzed by Jack's ear. He slapped it away. He opened his eyes. The sun was high above the canyon walls. He had slept a long time. Slim and Annie were sitting by a fire drinking from tin cups. Coffee? Biscuits? Annie asked Jack. Where did you get them? A cowboy always carries biscuits and a canteen of coffee, said Slim. He walked over and gave Jack a biscuit and a cup of coffee. It's hard as a rock, Slim said, and bitter as the muddy river water, but a cowboy takes what he can get. Jack took a bite and a sip. The biscuit was very hard and the coffee was very bitter. But that was okay with Jack. Since cowboys didn't mind, he didn't mind either. I'll saddle up Dusty, Slim said, and take you back to town to catch your stage. Then what will you do? Said Annie. Head south with my herd, said Slim. Sell 'em, then ride 'em across the plains and round up more mustangs. While Slim saddled Dusty, Jack took out his notebook and pencil. He wrote, Cowboy breakfast, bitter coffee, hard biscuits. Hey, Shorty, Slim called. What are you doing? Taking notes, said Jack. What for? He loves writing things down, said Annie. Oh, yeah, said Slim. Me too. In fact, I first came out west to write a book. But one thing led to another, and next thing you know, I'm a Mustang herder. Slim, you should write your book, said Annie, and let the Mustangs go free. Think so? Said Slim. They looked at the grazing wild horses. I know so, said Annie. Yup, said Jack. Your book should be about the Wild West, Slim. Slim kept staring at his herd. Maybe you're right. I could settle in Laramie and right there. Wouldn't have to chase those rustlers anymore. Slim turned back to Jack and Annie. Yup, I think I'll be a rider. Let's go before I change my mind, he said. Yay, said Annie. I'll go tell them. She jumped and ran to the Mustangs. Jack packed his backpack, while Slim packed his saddlebags. Then Slim and Jack climbed onto Dusty. They rode over to Annie, who was stroking Sunset's neck. I told him he's as free as the wind now, said Annie. Sounds good, said Slim. Give me your hand, Smiley. Slim pulled Annie onto Dusty. She sat right in front of Jack. Slim snapped his reins. Dusty started off. The sun was hot as Dusty climbed out of the canyon. When they reached the top, they peered down at the canyon floor. The Mustangs pranced playfully. Their coats were shining in the light. They'll find their way out soon, Slim said. Then cut across the prairie. Yell goodbye to your pal, Smiley. Stay with your mother, Sunset, shouted Annie. Goodbye. Out of the blue, a voice called back. Bye. Annie gasped. Who said that? The ghost? No, said Jack. It's just an echo caused by sound bouncing off the canyon walls. Slim cupped his hands. Who am I? He shouted. Am I? Came from the distant voice. Oh man, Jack said softly. That's the answer to Morgan's riddle, said Annie. Echo, she and Jack said together. Jack looked at Slim. You knew the answer last night, he said. Slim just smiled and snapped his reins. Let's go, partners, he said. All right, friends, that's the end of our chapters for today. So I want you now to think about what the summary of the chapter is. What did Jack and Annie solve? They figured out that the answer to the riddle was echo. That's really important, you guys. So today, you are going to use either the video camera or the microphone to just record your summary. You do not need to write it today. All right, friends, have fun.